Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 6. How important is politics and religion in marriage in helping you to make a decision on a spouse? How important is that? Is it important? I was very surprised this week when the couples were talking about politics and how many people were saying never talk about politics, never talk about religion. And I'm like, what? What? Isn't that a part of gathering data and helping you to make a decision on a mate? Where is my gathering data shirt? I want to thank you for your love and support. Thank you for hanging with me last night. I did unfiltered live with just my voice, and we learned a lot of what's going on with the couples. I also did unfiltered on my other channel, the other unfiltered. So be sure to check those out. And thank you. This is June 28th. Oh, June, Lord, I'm not trying to go back. August 28th. If you haven't supported me for the month of August, be sure to check my books out on Amazon. And remember, I need reviews. I need reviews. Be sure to remember to check the reviews. And of course, my shirts are on Etsy. Check those out. Okay. Oh, by the way, in support of Bow, I didn't wash this morning. I may be working day over all morning. Yeah, in support of Bow, I didn't wash. Okay. And this is why I'm wearing my nap queen. Because I just woke up. Sister, funky sisters together. Another thing I don't know if you guys know about me was I was supposed to go to law school. Did y'all know that about me? No. Yes, I was supposed to be a lawyer, which probably explains why I love politics and all those law shows and stuff. And for that, I am all about rights. Let me tell you, I am all about rights because we serve a God who is also about rights. Jesus will defend your right to choose to go to hell, okay? He will walk with you up to the gates of hell, encouraging you. Don't you want to be saved? Come on over to Jesus. But he will not override your right to choose, which is why a lot of these wives are praying, asking for prayer to God, help my husband to stop cheating. I'm like, ma'am, you're trying to override his right to cheat. If he wants to cheat, that is what he wants to do. How can you override his right? God is not going to override a person's rights to choose. If he wants to cheat, he's going to cheat. If he doesn't think that he needs help and he needs to ask God to help him, God is not going to override his right to please you. This is why there's a lot of husbands in Christendom that's not saved. And how many years y'all been praying for y'all sinful husband? 30, 40 years. You know why? Because you're trying to override his rights. And you need to learn to pray differently. You better buy the book when it comes out. So at this dinner, Mr. Feminine, baby making, Watermouth, they need to start giving him all the questions. I don't know why he's asking all the questions because he can't talk. He said one of his friends said to him, hypothetically, what if he's a Democrat and she's a Republican? How is that going to work? Is that a deal breaker? Merla said it is a deal breaker. Gil says it is a deal breaker. Brett says it's a deal breaker. Ryan said it is not a deal breaker. Now, I could not understand what was the issue between these two because I assumed they were both liberals. But Allie, shout out to Allie, my coworker, we watched Married at First Sight together. She said, no, Janice, Gil is a Republican. I said, ain't no way Gil a Republican. He too broke. He's too dustified. He too carefree and careless about money and his inheritance and a plan. Okay, and then I remember somebody said, On his profile, remember the profile, he said I just want to work hard, make money, eat with good people, and love the same woman over and over. And somebody else said, Janice, what if Gil is playing the Dusty role? Because somebody who does not care about money would not put that on their profile. And so when Alice said, no, Janice, he's a conservative Republican, I said, ain't no way. And then I thought about it. I said, well, that would make sense why Merla is saying she disagrees. And then I went back and I listened to what he said. And I said, oh, he is a Republican. And what he was saying he's no, who was it that said that to me? Was it Allie? No. That's Kimberly. Shout out to Kimberly, my other coworker. She also said, Janice, he's a Republican. I said, ain't no way, but it makes sense. I couldn't understand what's the issue with them politically because I just automatically assumed they were both liberals, right? And Kimberly said, no, listen again to what he said. He said, if the person is going to put money in my pocket, that's who I'm going to vote for. I said, you're right, girl. I went back this morning and I listened. And I said, he must be a new conservative. He's got to be a new Republican. He must be. I think he is. He hasn't been, his mind has not been renewed. Yeah, let me just say it real like that. Those of you who don't know, I am politically fluid. Goes back to me being a lawyer. I believe in rights. I believe in people's rights. If I was a lawyer, I could go to court and defend anybody whose rights were being violated because I believe in what the forefathers wrote. Freedom, liberty, and justice for all. I believe that. Though people of color, it's not true. But I believe it. I believe it all the way down to my tippy toe. If I was a lawyer, I would have been like a constitutional lawyer. I could go to court and fight for anybody's rights as long as there's a law on the books that says you have a right to do whatever. I will go to court and fight for you. No, that doesn't mean that I'm violating my faith. My faith has to do with what I believe personally, raise my children, and I share Jesus with people. But as far as your rights to do something that's on the book, I will go to court and fight for you. So I went back and listened to Gil. I said, oh, that's conservative talk. Everything Gil said at that dinner party sound right. With the exception of everything else he has said doesn't line up, which makes me think he's a new conservative and he hasn't learned the way yet. Because ain't no Republican gonna say, ain't no conservative. No, baby. Conservatives don't talk like this. Okay? Conservatives don't talk like that. Conservatives don't say, I'm gonna have 8 kids. With what money? So he must be new. He's brand new. He ain't got new. Who was it that says Mitch McConnell worked 70 years to turn the Supreme Court conservative? 70 years he worked. Is it 70 years? I might be wrong on the number. I heard it on the news and I've looked my head and I thought about it. And this is not a political post. And somebody said, a Democrat says, Democrats, they don't really care about the Supreme Court. Okay. They say conservatives, they Republicans, they care. It's indoctrinated in their children from the time they are born. The Supreme Court, you've got to flip the Supreme Court. You got to make it conservative. And they says Mitch McConnell has worked 70 years to do that. Now, I don't know if I told y'all, Those of you who's been following me, I told you the Lord told me that Trump was going to put 3 judges on the Supreme Court. I pray to God that that memory is going to come up on my Facebook, because I said it. I said, even when it was like November, and I said, the Lord told me. He said Trump was going to put 3 judges. So somebody kept saying, well, nominate 3 judges. And not because they nominate, put it on. I said, no, he's going to put 3 judges on the Supreme Court. The Lord told me that. He told me that. He said Trump is going to put 3 judges on the court, which makes me think something is coming. But anyways, and I have a book that I with those 3 dreams. Those of you who's been following me, you know I told y'all about those 3 dreams that God has not released me yet. I thought the Lord was going to release me to publish it this year after the inauguration of President Biden, but he didn't. He didn't. And so maybe I don't know, but it's written. I have the cover drawn up and everything. But anyways, so Gil over here he's got to be brand new. Because even when he was talking, it didn't click for me until the other girl said, Janice, listen to what he said. Listen to what he said. And I went back and I listened. Okay. I listened. And he said, another thing he said, let me show you the difference between conservatives and liberals. He said, if you're a different party, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to let that bother me, and politics should not divide a home. Ryan said the same thing. I know Ryan is a conservative. Brett says, oh no, it matters. You know why? Liberals cannot respect people's rights to choose. They can't. Brett cannot. She said, based on what he knows about his family and his background, it's going to be a potential problem for the family. I'll come back and talk about that. She says she's very mindful of political leaning. And based on what she knows about Ryan, it's going to be a problem for her marriage and her household. So why, Brett, can't you respect his rights? You know why? Liberals cannot. It kills them to respect other people's rights to choose. It kills her to respect that his views are different from hers. Merla to me, she says, no, I disagree. If he's different from me, it's going to be a problem, because she's a liberal. She can't respect his right to be different. Me personally, you can't be extreme. I could marry anybody. I can marry a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, whatever else. Hi, honey. I'm working. I'm taping. As long as they're not extreme. Like, you can't be at the opposite end. You have to be like here. You know what I mean? You have to be like a moderate. Because I can respect other people's right, but I can't do extreme. Extreme to me is they kill people, okay? Extremes, I can't do. So my question to you is, how important is politics? And a lot of people is still saying never discuss politics or religion. And I'm like, what? That's a part of gathering the data. That's a part of my wind is blowing my computer. You see how beautiful it is? That's part of gathering the data so that you can make an informed decision. I don't think in my dating history, I don't remember, because I'm writing a book about it, and none of the political came up. I don't think I've ever dated somebody who is super extreme. Though I was more politically inclined than a lot of the guys. Michael, my husband, Michael is Michael is perhaps the most politically inclined, politically knowledgeable man I have dated and married. And we could sit down. Was one of the things I love about him. We could sit down and talk about politics, history, anything, that's one of the things I just absolutely love about him, where we could just sit and just talk about anything. Okay. History. I could say, oh, Mike, I need you to watch this show. Come watch this show with me. Oh my God, let's talk about them. I was watching a show, a Netflix turn, and it says 1776. And I'm like, I was telling Mike, I said, I'm watching this show. It says, it's just, I said, something is not right about the time period, because there were Black people around, but they weren't slaves or something like that. And guess what he asked me? He said, well, where is the movie being filmed? Is it down south or is it up north? And I said, ding, 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 ding. It didn't click for me. Is it down south? And then as I listened, it was New York. As I listened more and watched more, it was in episode 2. There was talk about Trenton, New Jersey, Long Island, and New York. And I said, okay, it makes sense now, because the movie, the time period was up north. So that time period of the war between the North and the South made sense, because now I knew where it was filmed, versus I'm thinking, wait a minute, this don't add up. Okay. And then one of the young men says, I forgot what his name is. He said he was on a ship, and he said, this ship looks like the one I came over on. And I'm wait a minute, you came over on a boat, but now when I realized where it was filmed, it made sense to me. So yes, politics is very important. That's something, if you are extreme, you don't need to marry somebody of the opposite, because you will spend your life trying to convince them. Same thing about faith. I don't marry unbelievers. I don't marry people of other religious persuasion. He's got to be born again. If he's not born again, I've got nothing to talk to him about. Nothing. I'm not interested. I could have been married a long time ago. Okay, but they weren't Christians. I've seen boys I went to school with, and 20 years later, they're still telling me, James, I was supposed to marry. I was like, I could have been married, but they were not born again believer. And so my faith is important to me. So in choosing my husband, faith was my number one thing. He must be a born again Christian. So let me know, did you catch that, Gil? Did you think he was a conservative? Were you like me that thought he was liberal? I was kind of confused what the issue was with them. And also with Merla and Ryan. Well, definitely Ryan. Okay, but flying. She said, what I know about his background and his family, flying on private jets. Okay. hmm So let me know what you think. I love you. Would you marry somebody who does not have the same political persuasion as you? And I think maybe 10 years ago it didn't matter, but we've had a very what's the word? A very shifting of the guard. Can I use that word? In the last few years, um, based on what's going on right now in Afghanistan, there's a lot of I don't know what to say that's safe, so I'm not going to say anything. But a lot of people are really thinking this thing through. Okay, all right. Okay, I love you. Let me know. Remember, this is March. Jesus, I'm not trying to go back. August 28th. So remember to show me love. My journal, if you have a help, show me love this month. And of course, my Cash App and stuff is behind. I never remember my Cash App because I'm so focused on my books. People say, oh my God, Jesus, you always forget to tell us what your Cash App is. Okay, babes, I love you. I have to run. Okay, bye.